The big thing was yesterday. Yesterday was the peak. So I'm just letting you know that's in our rearview mirror. The worst of the storms are over. The main reason why, there were supercells. And there was a lot of telltale signs of what exactly was going on. For one, Brad Panovich tweeted this out. This is a shelf cloud. And one thing that's very misleading with some shelf clouds, you can see this little appendage right there. That is actually just representing that you have this little scud cloud that comes down. So let's talk about wet microbursts. There's a good chance that there was a wet microburst associated with this. Also could have been a rotation as well. But then you can also see what's known as the frontal downdraft that comes along with the system. So any storm system that rolls on in is also going to push a bunch of winds for the outflow. So either a wet microburst, is how we usually receive 90% of all wind damage across the area, or the leading edge. However, what's really interesting about this situation is the supercell that moved through Mecklenburg County, Gaston County, it was actually the rear flank downdraft. That's the back of the storm that can also have a second coming of winds. So our wind damage was incredible all over the place. Let's check it out. Here's some of the wind damage that we saw across the area. Multiple down trees. Key has been mentioning a boatload of road closures. Check this out. These are some large trees, which, by the way, the biggest killer in all these severe weather events, down trees. We saw it, sadly, that happened around Belmont. That you have these large trees that come down on cars, people walking about. That's why it's just better just to not drive in these situations. I know some people have no choice, but look at how large these trees are across the area. And this is going to be a situation that a lot of us might be waking up for the first time. Now, a lot of the storms moved through the afternoon. Me personally, we lost power until 11 o'clock. Part of our fence got crushed. And I think a lot of people are going to realize that there's a lot more damage than actually meets the eye. We have a down tree here at our station. They're everywhere, especially from Gaston County over to Mecklenburg County. And it was really the back end of that system that was the worst of it. But Larry, as we mentioned, we're actually seeing a nice improvement. Even the second round of thunderstorms isn't going to be anything like what we saw over in Tennessee.